The next thing I want to talk about is naming layers. There is actually a standard for naming layers. One might have already guessed this by looking at the strange codes in the existing Civil 3D layers. So if I click on the All filter, you notice that we have a lot of layers here that start with V, and we have a lot of layers that start with L, and we have some with C's, and we have some that start with A. So what does that exactly mean? Why does it start with A and C and then has this weird abbreviation right afterwards? We have BLDG, which probably means building, and then we have A and an O, which likely means annotation, and then we have HYDR, which probably stands for hydrology, and then PROP is probably property line, if we had to take a guess. And maybe some of this other stuff we don't exactly really know. So what does that really correspond to? Well, actually, it's corresponding to a set of standards. There has been several versions of these standards developed, and today we are using version 6. The standards were developed by the United States National CAD Standards and is widely adopted today. So you can learn more about the standards by visiting this website, www.nationalcadstandards.org/NCS6/content.php. So if I click on that first link, it will take me to this page here, which talks about drawing set organization, and it kind of gives us now some ideas like discipline designator. This is what the layers are actually corresponding to. So remember, we saw a bunch of A's, so those are corresponding to architectural. We saw a lot of V's in there, which corresponds to survey and mapping, so that's to that discipline. And we saw L, which corresponds to us, landscape. And then we saw some, what else did we see in there? We saw a C. So where is C? There's C in our list. So that stands for civil engineers. So that's what the first letter designation corresponds to. Then it gives you some more information down here at the bottom on what the rest of those letters would likely stand for. It also gives you some pretty helpful information on sheet, like mock-up sheets. And we actually do use this template, which we'll cover a little bit later. It doesn't look exactly like this, but it's pretty close. There's some other links in here that you may find useful, that you may find that offices today are using. I will admit, here at KSU we aren't really using version 6, and that's mostly because it costs money to purchase. We're still using version 1 because version 1 was free. So here's some more symbols information. Typical symbols used in a drawing. So this will help you too. So if you see a drawing, you see these weird symbols, this is a great place to go to kind of learn what exactly do those symbols mean. So here we go, we have this dash line here, and we have a dash and then a dot. Usually this is for a property line. And this one's designated for center line. So if you're not very familiar with, with all these weird symbols, what they exactly mean, this is a really good place to go and kind of give yourself a quick orientation. And here's another one for property line designation. Yeah, it's usually 2 dashes and then a long dash, 2 shorts and a long. Very, very helpful. I'll admit that when I first started in landscape architecture, I saw these weird symbols and nobody could really tell me what any of this stuff meant. So when I went out to the web and I found this site, it was like so helpful. And it turned out none of my classmates really knew what any of these symbols meant, so I ended up sharing this information with them. So now I'm sharing it with you.